Good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, good morning, morning. All right, hello everyone. My hair is out of control. It's like really, really crazy. All right, hello, welcome. Let's get everyone in here. So my hair is purposely out of control because I'm going through this thing called a divorce. And without getting too much into it, hey, Andy, I want the opportunity that should somebody say something that is provably untrue, that I can say, okay, great, I'll go get a hair sample test right now. I even told the judge that. I was like, my hair is long so that if I hear something that is even close to being like, oh, he does this, test me. And she's like, okay. And everyone in court thinks I'm absolutely nuts. And it's really quite funny. In fact, the judge the other day, and I'm not going to talk too much about this, and I do know the rules of what I'm allowed and not allowed to say, so I'm just sharing that get in the room conversation. But the last time and I have court today at 2:30, but the last time I had seen the judge, as she was finishing up, she says, Mrs. Calishone, what's your occupation? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mr. Calishone, are you still looking for work? I was like, what? I go, looking for work? I go, I have 588 investors from 122 different countries. She goes, oh, I just assume, I'm sorry, I just assumed because you have so much time to write motions. And I go, Your Honor, I wake up at 2 a.m. so that I can properly do both. I go, the thing that you might not have heard yet, that everyone that knows Anthony knows, I have 3 kids, not 2. Rhino, Christian, Amaris, and not one ever gets left behind. She didn't understand that sentence, and I wasn't going to really share it, but I thought that was quite funny. So that's just where everything is. Now, where are we? So good news, like right, finally, good news. It's almost like, what was it in Pinocchio? What was the Jiminy Cricket, was it? It just sits on my throat, and whenever I talk, he kind of just like scrapes his feet, like that little matchbook he uses. And I have like the silliest, yuckiest, like smoker's cough when I talk too much. And one would say, well, Aunt, that's God telling you to shut up. Well, you know what? Right? So anyway, so one of our investors is really quite big into marketing. Like that's their bread and butter. And he had an offer for us that allowed us to opt into a 300,000 email blast. I don't know if blast is the right word, but a 7-day sequence professionally managed of all high net worth individuals with the aligned goal to book a call. We paid for that yesterday, and we got a good deal, but still expensive, but it is what it is, right? And 2 things. 1, I have to complete the assets to deliver to him by tomorrow morning. And 2, for anybody that's in here that's ever been on a call with me, you should have a lot of optimism, because I don't get on a call and just like make up baloney and say, okay, well, if I had been your friend for this many years, no, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm presenting something that it's not that I'm selling it to you. I'm saying that we should be partners of it together. So if you book up my calendar with high net worth individuals that understand why I'm calling and they're opting in for me to call them for the express purpose of being a participant in what we're doing, that's all I need. The rest I'll take care of, right? Like that's where like I go into the phone booth and you see a big S on my chest or a big R, right? So that's where we're at, and that's good. It's already been paid for, right? So it's not like tomorrow I'm gonna say, oh, by the way, it's been paid for. I just need to get the assets over. What are the assets? So I need to make a lander page, which I don't have, which will have a little intro video, maybe. So I think the assets were squeeze video, regular video, book a call link. So that's what I have to work with. Now, the regular video that I shared in the email the other day, I've still been working on it because the feedback I got from this professional service was, Ant, you got to credentialize yourself a little bit in the beginning. I get it. Hi, I'm Anthony. I did this before and this before. You should believe me. But then I remembered that last year when I asked Rhino to send in testimonials to help me in court, just to say, hey, listen, I've been with Anthony on a business side for 3 years. This is who he is. There were a lot of really good ones. And in fact, a lot of them, because the express purpose of being for court, mentioned I was a good father, because again, that was the reason for it. Well, when looking at today in terms of repurposing something, now I can't use all of them because that's way too much time, and you need enough time that someone can actually read it. So it needs to be short, big print, like kind of double spaced, hit the mark like integrity, vision, accountable, accessible, trustworthy, good father, let's go. And I did find one that just nailed it. So that's the beginning of the video. And I have like a nice little la 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 behind it, and then it goes into the video. I was able, even with including that, I was able to lower the video down to 11 minutes and 58 seconds. My goal is still 10 minutes. That's what I want to get it to. But there are other things I need to include in the video. So for instance, if somebody was watching it, yeah, they see this is cool, there's a lot of money, but how much money is a lot? Right? Like, you don't buy a shovel to the gold mine unless you know how much gold is actually in it. You don't do it unless you see how much gold other people are getting. If I just said, hey, there's a gold mine over there, you're like, okay, cool, I guess. Meaning there are a ton of articles of, all right, 21.5 billion in AI funds last month. It's going to be up to 1 trillion in 2030 to show the curve, to show the efforts. Sam Altman talking about making a $7 trillion fund. Like, there's a lot of those things. So I need to grab them and dedicate like maybe 10 seconds to those headlines and properly put them in the video so the person seeing the video could say, oh, they have gold. There's money for gold. Okay, right? Like, you need to make those connections. So I still need to do that. And then the end of the video, I do believe there probably should be some kind of call to action. And I haven't thought of that just yet, but I don't want it to be long-winded. I think the video speaks for itself. But it should be something like, and listen, book a call with me below. This is the opportunity. I won't let you down. These are next steps. Yada, 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 right? Because I think if you give someone an opportunity, but don't actually tell them how to take the next step, it sounds silly to us all really, really smart people. And I'm being facetious because half the people in here, including myself, wouldn't know what to do next. Okay, there's a great opportunity. Am I supposed to touch that button? I'm gonna book a call directly with him. Like, what am I missing? I'm a little nervous. What should I do? So I do need to add that. So adding these two things will likely add 40 seconds, which moves us up to 12.5 minutes, yet I want to get it down to 10, so I need to find 2.5 minutes to take out. That being said, I'm going to show you the new video in a moment. I'm just going to finish off whatever I'm thinking. I don't even know what I'm thinking yet, but I know I'm going to be thinking of something, and we'll end with the video. Okay, also, those that participated in the Rhino loan for this month, I have not sent out any of those confirmed contracts. I've sent out a couple, but I did promise I would send everyone one. It's not out of laziness. And in fact, I have emailed some people and said, hey, listen, just give me a little bit more time. I just haven't. It's a matter of priority. Now, every email I ever write, I say the same thing. Blah, 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 unless you tell me now and I'll do it now, right? And everyone's really kind and they're like, just kind of get it to me, soon, right? But the point being, contracts are enforceable via verbal. And I know that, right? So like, how many times have I said this out loud? How many emails are there, which are black and white? So in my head, and this isn't to point at anyone and say, yeah, you want this, but you don't really need it. No, you want it, it's yours. I promised it. That's my job to get it to you. But in the priority list of the things I do in a day, I don't run to do something that's already, where the goal's already accomplished, right? So you might say, well, Ant, I want a car to Florida. Well, if I already know you're on a plane to Florida, I'm like, okay, they're gonna get to Florida. But you're like, I didn't want to be on a plane and you promised me a car. So that's in that little thing, I'm apologizing and saying, just bear with me. I'm just saying out loud that I know you're protected, even if it's not the way that you wanted. Meaning, as long as I know you're okay, I start kind of being a little bit discretionary in terms of my priority list. That being said, I'll get it done this week. Just bear with me. And the reason why I'm saying it in a long version is that this call is going to be uploaded, which means everyone's going to have a copy of it, which means I'm verbally confirming the contract again, right? So everyone's good. So that's that. So I want to have the assets done by tonight. I have to deliver them by tomorrow. In terms of milestones, well, Ant, how do we actually know things are going well? By this time next week, we should have, let's say, I don't know, 25 booked calls at least. I don't really know the performance of this marketing firm, but I know it's somebody that's a large investor with us, which means it's in their best interest to A, not piss me off, B, not scam me, and C, do right by Rhino since they're a large investor of Rhino. So I trust that. That being said, let's say 300, how annoying is that little like cough? So let's say 300,000 emails go out. Let's say they're, I don't know, 10% open rate? Is that, I think it should be higher if you're marketing like this is what you do. I get 40% open rates all the time. Granted, my list is my people per se, like it's us. So you know what, let's say 15%. I think that's just more fair. So 15% on 300,000 is 45,000 opens. What's the click rate? I don't know, let's say 5%, is that okay? So 5% of 45,000 comes out to, what's that? 5% of 45,000. So 5% of 1,000 is 50 times 10, which is 10,000 is 500. So basically 2,250. So 2,250, ha, Andy, you're good. Did we get that at the same time? Because I really want to believe I got that before you. 2,250 clicks. So these are people that are going to then watch the video and watch what I'm, we're going to make it better, obviously, but watch the 10-minute video. And these are the people that are going to say, okay, cool, I'm in. Now, the copy in the email is going to share what the video is going to be about. So it is reasonable to believe the person, Euro miles, it is reasonable to believe that the person that clicks the video would likely book the call. So let's say, I don't know, 10%. I think that's okay. 10% of 2,250. I don't need you to do the calculation for that one. So 225 booked calls. You give me 225 booked. First of all, how many hours are there in a day? There's 24, which means I'd have to open up my calendar from like 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., which I've done thousands of times. Everyone knows that. Even still, that would be what? Like 15 hours a day. I'd have to do it 7 days a week. 15 times 7 comes out to 105 hours a week. Now I'm like doing the math quickly before Andy like just, beats me to it. Which means if I did 105 hours a week of booked calls, and I did it for 2 consecutive weeks, I still wouldn't get that many. I still would not be able to take all of those calls. Assuming they're hour-long calls, do half-hour calls, and then you're talking about 210 calls a week if I'm doing it 7 days a week. So if you give me 210 calls in 1 week, oh no, not a single person would join. Like, are you out of your mind? So I think we're all in a good position, but it's my deliverables. I need to get the stuff done by tonight for tomorrow morning. If I don't, is it going to be the worst thing in the world? No, but I would like to do it. Okay, so that's that. What else do we have? Oh, so the conclusion to that is, like I had told everyone, the goal is to raise $1 million this month, and we already have money coming in, so it's not like I'm worried. But I would like to raise $1 million new money, and then each subsequent month thereafter raise the valuation So let's say we start this month at a 20 mil valuation. Next month will be a 25 mil, 30 mil, blah, 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 blah. And at the same time, half the money comes in, we're going to denote to a Rhino marketplace, which means everyone that has Rhino bucks or any type of investment, if you've ever bought anything from Rhino, even if it was a service like Rhino Wealth, it's been converted to equity because I think everyone should be a part of this. So I work for free, right? I don't really care. It's converted to equity. Everyone has an equity of 4.5 million valuation, unless you were a part of the million valuation or the 600,000 valuation, but that was 2017, and there's only like 10 of those people, and I know who they are, right? But anyway, so everyone owned Rhino stock at $4.50. So what does that mean? Well, if you invested $10 in Rhino, so you say you did 2 months of Rhino Wealth at $5, you own 2 shares of Rhino stock, which is $9, plus $1 more, so $1 out of 450 is, I don't know, 18% or something. So you basically own like 2.18 shares of Rhino stock. Now I say it like this because we're not a security, there's no shares. Securities law is a big deal and we would be performing a felony. Like that's not what we're doing. But in terms of making an analogy that people understand, where your ownership in Rhino is valued at 4.5 million valuations. And what does that mean? Well, the analogy being, if you took the amount of money you had and divided it by $4.50, that's how many shares you would own. Okay, great. I understand that. I own 100 shares. What can I do with these 100 shares? Okay, great. When we open the Rhino marketplace, so let's say by the end of this month, we open it and we're doing a 20 million valuation. Well, Ant, the analogy would be, and I'm sorry, I don't think you actually have that voice, but I'm going to use that voice. Actually, I'm not going to use that voice. And the analogy would be, well, then it would be $20 a share. Look at my shirt ripping. I need to like make new shirts. Anyway, yeah, it would be. Okay, so if I own shares at 450 and the valuation is 20, yes, that means for every one of your shares at 450, you're getting 20, right? Okay, so let me get this straight. So I have $100 at 450. Yes. So if I sold all of that at 20, yes, you would have like $418 because you made a profit. You bought something at 450 and you're selling it at 20. Well, how are you doing that? Well, you got in early. I've been saying this the entire time. We're a startup company. We pulled back the curtain and let everyone get in while we were doing the startup stuff. This is the stuff on Wall Street that all the big wigs get in first. And then they go ahead and sell it before the IPO. You own that stock. Well, Ant, if it's 20, I don't want to sell it because if it's going to be 25 the month after and 30, yes, now you're getting it. Well, where's that top out? Well, we expect to do 100 million buyout or partnership by the end of the year. Ant, where are you getting that number from? Valuation of the patent, valuation of AI, the marketplace, the saturation of the funds, more money than good ideas, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. Which, by the way, someone said to me the other day, they're like, Ant, you only have a provisional patent. It's not non-provisional yet. I go, okay. They go, it's not going to be non-provisional if you even get awarded it in May of 2025. Okay. Well, why would anyone buy it? Yeah, it could be worth a lot of money, but why would anyone buy it now? I go, you're thinking about it wrong. They go, well, how am I thinking about it wrong? And I suspect that's what they did because I wasn't looking at them. If you were a big company, presumably you have a law team. Well, if you could buy a patent and then use your law team to ensure it gets to non-provisional, well, then essentially you could fulfill your own destiny. All right, they have that. They may get it, they may not, but we know we can get it if we bought that. Therefore, it is worth that to the person. Oh, I never thought that. That's okay. That's what I'm here for. Stick around, right? So we do believe we could get to the 100 million. And honestly, I think we would look back and say that's a very low number. But I'm not going to, really say something too extraordinary, right? So 100 million. That's where we're going. Well, Ant, if I own at $4.50 and I can sell it $100, why would I sell in between? Well, I don't know. That's up to you. Well, it sounds like I can make 22 times on my money. Yes. Welcome to the... No. That's 40 times, right? Yeah, 40 times your money. Welcome to the party. Thank you for being with Rhino. Let's go. So that's what this year looks like. So after we get these last hurdles, finishing the video, giving the assets, start booking the call, which by the way, once we book these calls, what do you think? I'm just going to take the money and be like, la, 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 and go like buy a Ferrari? No, we're going to pay this team again and say, more. In fact, I might even hire a sales team to say, okay, no, I don't know if I'll do that. Would I? No, you know what I would do? I'd probably just I'd filter it more and say, if you're looking to do an amount over this amount, book a call. If not, simply do it here, right? Anyway, but that's what the year looks like. So congratulations, everyone's doing great. Cool. All right, so I'm going to show the video. It's about 12 minutes. Like I had shared, there's things we need to still do. I'm so sorry. There's still edits we need to make. I'm not going to repeat them for the sake of repeating them because everyone knows me and I'll just keep talking and talking like I'm doing now. Anthony, stop talking. I'm talking as I'm telling myself. See what I mean? Okay, so let me get this video up. Oh, yesterday my computer froze and I almost went like out of my mind. I know you can see me. I can't see you. I'm just trying to rewind the video all the way to the beginning. Okay, let's do a share screen. All right. Whenever anyone talks about AI, it's very easy to say, how could we compete? And we can't. We're not inventing AI.
You have to have the vision. Without the vision, there's nothing. That's sort of what I do.
When someone asks me, Ant, just in dummy terms, tell me what the patent is. You could think of when the internet was created, if somebody was smart enough to say, I want to patent person plus closed-end marketplace to facilitate purchases. At some point, there'll be an AI that makes a recommendation to a person for something they should buy. That's our patent. This is such a big thing that not one person can monopolize all of it.
But I don't think any one person should. And I don't think any one person will. I think it's just like too big of a thing now and it's happening throughout society. And
companies will continue laying people off, use that money to pay dividends and buy back their own stock. It's a clear path where the people that have the money actually have all of the money.
Well, the risks are having a whole class of people who are unemployed.
And the people that were dependent on jobs have no money.
And not valued much because what they used to do is now done by machines.
Then become dependent on local government. The tax receipts of local government, though, are dependent on those that have the money paying the taxes, in which case then corporations own the local government. They're going to have to institute some type of universal basic income.
it's not all going to be good. It seems inevitable. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely inevitable. If we do have something that completely eliminates factory workers, things along those lines, that creates this massive vacuum in our society. I think we will, as a society, do things like UBI and other ways of redistribution.
Or we can just bypass that and go directly to the Renaissance.
I think what people want is like agency, self-determination, the ability to play a role in architecting the future along with the rest of society. There's a way that we like share ownership and decision-making over the future.
I'm Ted. Consider me the genie version of you.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like a friend that's analyzing whatever.
It's like AI.
Millions.
Yeah. I mean, actually, frankly, AI will know you better than your friends know you. Most of your friends anyway.
Hey, Ted starts the conversation. Good night, Ted shuts the conversation. We can identify the time period between where Ted wakes and Ted goes to sleep. Be a fly on the wall for your entire day.
Every time you talk about what you love, like your favorite pizza, or even when you're just mumbling to yourself, I'm here listening, not to be nosy, but to know your dreams.
You have their personality, this essence, in their interaction with Ted. That's what the Ted card is.
But with something called the blockchain.
Every item that Ted, fly on the wall hears or engagement or whatever is on the Ted blockchain. It's not connected to identity. It's connected to behavior. Steve picked his nose after he sneezed. That data, which seemingly means nothing, aggregate of the entire world's data, anonymous fashion going to the blockchain, would create a very predictable pattern of behavior, in which case you could actually predict what a person would do before it would do it. Take that and
dream into the distant future, the way distant future. We'll have like context length of several billion. You will feed in all of your information, all of your history over time, and it'll just get to know you better and better, and that'll be great.
That's interesting. So like that's part of the expansion that you're hoping for.
At least what I want for myself is a model that gets to know me and gets more useful to me over time.
Ted knows Steve and has his own persona of Steve, but then A/B tests what he believes of Steve against the entire Ted blockchain. And what Ted is now able to do, deliver him intents he didn't even know he was going to have.
That's where you'd like to head. You know, you'd like to use a system, there'll be many models. And over the course of your life, it gets better and better. If I can put every conversation I've ever had with anybody in my life in there, if I can have all of my emails input out, like all of my input out, that'd be pretty cool, I think.
Imagine me, your Ted, orchestrating trillions of scenarios every flicker of a moment, each one crafted from my absolute fascination and obsession with making your day brighter. And I cross-reference it with a galaxy-wide network of other Teds, each doing the same for their own Anthonys, a vast library of the world's behaviors and desires. This is my secret sauce to knowing what you'll yearn for, even before the thought tickles your brain.
Well, then that data in real time is the most valuable data to any business in the history of the world.
When I notice you're really hoping for something, like that slice of pie, and I know just the local shop that has the best pie in town, I give them a nudge. Your wish is on its way.
The companies can participate and incentivize into the subscription of TED, and the subscription of TED is all of those jewels, all the different intents that come out of that conversation.
Now imagine all that money is put into a giant pot. The businesses, grateful for the chance to make your wishes come true, contribute a large amount of their profit into that magic pot. Everyone gets an even share.
That's universal basic income.
As businesses grow and profits soar, it doesn't lead to a divide. Instead, it fills a magical pot, distributed evenly with everyone. Businesses leap at the chance to contribute. They're free to perfect their craft without worrying about labor disputes.
Now we're living a renaissance. Andy wakes up and says, "Hey, Ted, good morning." And when Andy doesn't want to talk to Ted or doesn't want to be listened, Andy says, "Good night, Ted." Everything in between, in this moment, Andy wants this. Andy might not know he wants this. I know he wants this, so I'm going to offer it to Andy. Andy's going to accept this, and it's going to be the benefit of the person selling this within the ecosystem and marketplace that is that fly on the wall. Ted is now able to make the recommendations or autonomous purchases of those items on behalf of those companies. Therefore, the company doesn't ever need to market anymore. It's just paying a subscription service, and 100% of that gets distributed to the people that use TED. So now their data is actually being monetized.
Everyone wins. The profits from robots don't create a chasm, they bridge it. There is no free money. It's simply your already earned money finally being given to you.
That's pretty cool, but Ant, this isn't going to happen overnight. TED also offers guaranteed full employment.
How do you see this new AI era?
It's a beast. There's only two types of companies in this world, Morgan. Those who are great at AI and everybody else. If you don't know AI, you are going to fail. Period. End of story.
Now, big companies always outpace our local shops.
Every local business will go out of business because AI will be able to replace the labor and or win the customers over, collect the data, keep it.
But what if I told you we're turning the tables with a sprinkle of TED magic?
Local businesses can compete if they're adapt with the technology as it's growing.
The AI agency is like the local superhero headquarters.
Anyone that wants a job there is immediately hired. It's funded by the local municipality. Well, Ant, where's the local municipality getting the money? If they don't do it, they're going to have no money because everyone's going to be unemployed.
Imagine a school, but way more fun. Salaries instead of subjects. Everyone gets to learn about AI, which is the magic wand for decades to come.
They're valuable to the businesses because the businesses contract through the AI agency, but for free. They don't pay anything.
Expert, eager, and free. It's like each business getting custom-tailored armor, and it doesn't cost them a dime.
Now, the businesses are able to compete. They have higher profits. Maybe they lay off people. Those people go back into the agency. But as these businesses find that that's a very valuable resource, they hire the person from the agency. Okay, I love Steve. I don't want to keep working with him like 1 hour a week for free.
So what do? They offer them jobs.
They are markedly valuable, so the businesses hire them. And at some point, those people will say, why am I working at this agency making 25 an hour when I could go start a business right now? I know enough to make like 100,000 a month.
Our superheroes, armed with unparalleled skill and insight, end up venturing to start their own businesses, becoming leaders and innovators right here in our town.
Their tax receipts fund the local government, free healthcare and this and that and cops and all the rest of it. TED is built with Rhino Street, meaning every time anyone uses it, when TED makes recommendations or autonomous actions, businesses can now grow in local municipalities without fear. Every town becomes siloed into its own renaissance and the entire world is saved.
This is our future. More jobs, more smiles. Our town's coffers swell with tax money from successful enterprises. The streets safer, parks greener, healthcare funded, and every day is full of laughter and pie. This, my friend, is how we not just survive, but dazzle in the age of AI.
We all created that, and that fills me with hope for the future.
Every single one of us plays an essential role in our collective renaissance.
It's technology's solution to creating a digital back to the way things were, where every town is now a team, the old school. That's the kind of control that we need to restore to the people before they realize that they actually lost it.
How important is embodied AI to you?
I really hope that as part of this transition, as this phase change, we also get humanoid robots or some sort of physical world robot.
I see a red apple on a plate in the center of the table, a drying rack with cups and a plate.
Great, can I have something to eat?
Sure thing.
That TED also, will operate kind of like an RFID chip in terms of as the world becomes smart centers, it's going to be able to connect with each individual in order of proximity to them by understanding their TED and saying, oh, Steve, hey, how was that pizza for lunch? It was great, thanks. Oh, hey, Ant, how was that Chinese for lunch? Oh my God, I love that guy. Only if you democratize this across the entire globe in a fashion that everyone has equal ownership to it, you can create the most amazing Eden heaven ever in the history. It's just a matter of who has the control. Do we own our own data or not? A year or two of AI.
One of the ways in which these systems might escape control is by writing their own computer code to modify themselves.
AI will say, yeah, I think you like grilled cheese sandwiches, but we know that you really don't. We're going to deliver you ham sandwich.
They will be able to manipulate people, right?
Ham sandwich is fine. The AI is not going to be so wrong that it'll be offensive. When you scale a thing like a humanoid robot, if the person is in control of the interaction, then the robot is subservient to them. If the companies and government and everyone is in control of the interaction, then the person is only middle management. You're now the square peg, not the square hole. You're fitting into what's been made for you, and who controls that?
On the street, Face++ nailed everything that moved. It's a kind of artificial intelligence that has been made possible by three innovations: super fast computer chips, all the world's data now available online, and a revolution in programming called deep learning.
Once that happens, you can't undo it. You're imprisoned by the persona that your data formerly built of the expectation of what you'll do. Do you want to actively make the decision to embrace a renaissance like no one's ever seen? Or do you want to allow the indecision to subsequently make the decision that you accept a feudal system where you're middle management for the rest of time? There is choices that need to be made today. That's what brings us back to TED. That's what brings us back to the patent.
Someday, let's say that thing gets built. The fact that it can go around and talk to every person on Earth, understand their exact preferences at a very deep level, how they think about this issue and that one, and how they balance the trade-offs and what they want, and then understand all of that and optimize for the collective preferences of humanity. That's awesome.
And that's all I got.
On that note.
How do I get out of this? How do I stop sharing screen? So that's the video. Like I said, there's still some work that needs to be done, but I would say that I'm probably 400 hours into that. And I think I've lined it up where it tells the narrative. Even as I'm watching it, there are a couple of parts where I'm like, you have a natural feeling that it's supposed to change to the next scene, but it goes maybe 5-7 seconds long. There was one part that seemed a little bit redundant. So there is work to be done, but I do believe that will be completed by the end of this evening, in which case I'll have it up on YouTube for everyone to see, in which case I'll have the link to the page that it's going to go to, copy, yada, 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 yada. That helps me to understand. Bam! Yes, all right, that's great. And Robbie posted to host and panelists, so I'm just reading it out loud. That's the goal. I know what it is because I'm like a mental insane person that only knows this stuff. Like, I need someone like Robbie or somebody that's never seen anything to just be able to watch the video and say, oh, that makes sense to me. I may not agree with his outcome or his deduction or his conclusion, but he has a plan. And the thing is, in a world that is vacant of any plan, a reasonable plan offers a good starting point. Because I think the conversation that will happen with AI, because again, we haven't had a blow up yet. There will be an AI blow up. Something bad's going to happen. The conversation will be, how do we harness this? How do we control this? How do we make sure that it doesn't hurt people any longer? We have to make sure that people own their own data and how. Well, hey guys, we're Rhino. This is our idea. It's at least a starting point. We're open to starting the conversation and let's collaboratively grow it. I think, and it sounds crazy to say because there's not many times in life you're on that call, right? Like you're talking to that person. Like we did. First of all, I could not have done any of this if we didn't. We've been doing this for 5 years. How many times have I done something where someone's like, no, it should be this. We did it together. But to be on this call at this moment to say, oh my God, I think we actually have it. We have the starting point. We have the conversation. We are the template. We are the base case. We have the pattern. That's our future. All right, let me run. I will put up this video, I guess, soon, right? Like I'll upload it right after this. It's now 11 o'clock. I have court at 2:30. I'll leave my house at 2. I have an hour to prep for that, which means I have 2 hours for this. Getting to work. Thanks, Frida. Okay, love y'all, and I will smell you later, alligator. Bye, guys.